How can I deal with the anger and resentment towards my spouse? Well, the answer is just not simple. It's twofold. First of all, we are going to be dealing with why exactly are you angry? Because anger, as I always say, I repetitively say, anger is always an emotion. And you have to understand that emotions are not against you. They are telling you something about you. Okay, they're telling you some uncomfortable feeling. So you got to be addressing that emotion. That why am I angry? So maybe it's that your needs are unmet or your boundaries are being consistently violated, and you're accepting that. Whatever you say yes to, when your internal system is saying no to that, there's a conflict. Okay, and if you want to resolve the conflict, first dig deeper into the reasons. And you have to be honest with yourself. Write it down that I'm angry because of this. I'm angry because of this. If this happens, I will be less stressed. If this happens, I will be less angry. Now, sometimes when you're writing, your desires, and you're writing your current situation, there's a lot of gap between both of them. Why? Because your desires include that I want this person to act better. I want my husband to be more supportive. I want my husband to be more appreciative. But currently, he's not appreciating me, and that's why I'm angry. So, now the thing that you need to address, once you have written the gap and once you know that, okay, this is your problem, but this is your desire, this is your desired solution. What is it that you're doing in order to bridge the gap between these two? That is the biggest problem, and that is something that amplifies the problem. And this gap where you are trying to resolve things is exactly the problem. So sometimes you are acting angry, sometimes you are trying to please, sometimes you are trying to overgive and overlove, even though internally you're not ready, and sometimes you're giving the silent treatment just to punish the other person because he's not giving you what you want him to give to you. Okay, so you got to understand one thing, that you can desire for something, but you cannot control what people give to you and what they don't give to you. And that's where you respect who they are, even though they're not giving you your rights, even though they're not treating you with respect. But you respect what they choose to give to you. And when you know that, okay, this is where they're incapacitated currently, just currently, they're going to be doing better after you address this problem the way I'm suggesting to you. So currently they are incapacitated, or they can't resolve things the way you want them to resolve things. What are the mechanisms that you're going to be doing to take the responsibility of your own actions instead of putting it on them, instead of dealing with your anger by throwing it on them? What are you going to do for yourself that is going to prevent the damage that you're causing to them? That's going to be the problem solver. So, for example, there's a matter in your marriage. It could be that you both are hanging out with each other, going out. And every single time there's a pattern that this man is not focused on you, rather he's focused on something else, focused on phone, focused on people around you, and not on you. So a part of that irritates you. Now, a part of that, of course, you have to allow. You have to be open to that of course you can't be the entire focus of the person, but still a part of that is still bothering you, where you're feeling unassured, insecure, and that is where you have to bring this up in the conversation, that this is how I feel when I go out with you. But you're not going to be trying to change him when you're going out with him. Okay, you are not going to be showing him via anger that I'm upset, just listen to me. You don't listen to me, you don't pay attention to me, you're always looking at your phone. No, that is the very toxic way of presenting your concerns, and that is why your concerns are amplifying. The only thing that you can fully control is how you put your boundary. So it's like you are understanding, well, okay, this person is not choosing to love me, and I can't, like, I'm not so low that I consistently ask for love or attention. That's his job to give to me. But my responsibility is to communicate how I'm feeling about a certain thing without blaming or criticizing or hurting him, because maybe he's looking at his phone or he's doing certain things not to hurt you intentionally or not to put away the focus from you, but he is doing it out of his own priorities while you're also his priority. So you are just going to be telling how you feel about a matter without assuming that he is a bad person, he's a toxic person, he's a narcissist, or he's avoidant or whatever. Okay, you don't have to put the labels even in your mind, even in your assumption, because soon that assumption starts getting solidified because it starts getting out in your words and actions, and the other person starts complying to that. Naturally, this happens. So you just have to bring this up in a doubtful way, that I respect that maybe you are busy. I respect that this is important to you. I really appreciate, I really understand you. But at the same time, this is how I feel, even though you don't intend to hurt me or ignore me because you have been so good to me. So if he understands this concern and he he decides that, okay, I will be careful around you, that is where you can go out and hang out with him. But if he's getting defensive, well, if you technically talk in this format that I'm telling you, he's not going to be getting defensive, but he will be more open to understanding your concerns as well. But let's suppose he doesn't want to. Let's suppose he is actually the person you are assuming. That is where you can decide that, okay, I respect this person, I respect the choices of the person, but I respect myself enough to not be in those occasions where I'm feeling disrespected. Okay? And that is something that ultimately solves the problems in the relationship. So again, this is a general format. General is not specific. You have to come to me for the specific situations that you're dealing with. And this includes me helping you go through your past traumas, your attachment styles, and how you're presenting the concern. Because sometimes you're presenting the concern in a way that is very insecure, and that insecurity is something that you can't control whenever in an emotional situation, because your emotions get involved, your emotions and your wounds of abandonment, they get triggered, and to cover that and to protect yourself from that, you start getting triggered into fight, flight, or freeze response. So once we start controlling those responses that are coming from your childhood, once we tame your nervous system and you tame your responses, that is where this knowledge is going to be very easy for you to apply. Because I worked with women who had even OCD, who had even different issues when it comes to repetitive questioning, and they started feeling significant difference after working with me. So simply drop me a DM and we can work on your issues.